The rising global population threatens food security, as the increased demand for food puts pressure on our agricultural resources and production systems. This increased demand intensifies problems like land degradation, water scarcity, climate change, and competition for arable land, making it harder to provide nutritious food for everyone, especially in areas already experiencing food insecurity. Focusing on innovative technologies and sustainable agricultural practices, these challenges can become valuable opportunities that can drive economic growth and technological advancement. Research for Development, or R4D, plays a pivotal role in addressing the challenge of food security. In the Philippines, an organization is emphasizing the transformative power of technology to drive the sector towards its optimal potential through Research for Development, or R4D. The Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research, or DA-BAR, supported by various executive orders and Republic Act 8435, also known as Agri-Fisheries Modernization Act, or AFMA, DA-BAR is mandated to ensure that all agricultural research is coordinated and undertaken for maximum utility to agriculture. DA-BAR coordinates, integrates, funds and manages the R4D system in the country to optimize its use for the sector. It is envisioned to be the lead R4D coordinating agency, promoting a technology-empowered agriculture and fisheries sector that contributes to inclusive growth. To ensure that research leads to desired results and long-term impacts, DA-BAR follows the R4D Impact Pathway Framework. It assists DA-BAR in planning, monitoring, and evaluating the effectiveness of R4D projects under rice, corn and cassava, livestock and poultry, fisheries and aquaculture, organic agriculture, climate change, biotechnology, support to technology commercialization, agri-fisheries technology business incubation, and scale-up, thereby connecting research outputs to outcomes and societal impact, aligning efforts with industry goals, and generating meaningful, measurable change. It is DA-BAR's responsibility to ensure that suitable technologies and interventions are promptly accessible for the sector's utilization. However, DA-BAR cannot accomplish this alone. It needs capable partners in cascading these R4D outputs and outcomes that will advance technology-driven agriculture and fisheries sector. Collaboration is the backbone of research, and seamless integration of interdisciplinary expertise and resources is crucial for achieving common goals. By partnering with DA-BAR, we attain greater productivity in a cost-effective manner. Like the age-old adage, the sum is greater than its parts. Here at DA-BAR, we firmly believe that the power of collaboration has the potential to unleash a magnitude of possibilities beyond measure. We offer funding opportunities that can substantially improve the effectiveness and breadth of research endeavors. We facilitate networks and linkages to enhance opportunities to leverage expertise and resources. And more significantly, we serve as a hub for invaluable knowledge exchange, harnessing emerging and innovative technologies to tackle pressing sectoral challenges and global issues.
To the Department of Agriculture family, to our colleagues in the DA Bureau of Agricultural Research, sa ating mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda, isang magandang umaga. Ako po si Cristina S. Estrada from the Knowledge Management and Information Systems Division of the DA Bureau of Agricultural Research, and ako po ang inyong host ngayong araw. So today is our last seminar episode of 2025, and this year has been very, very productive. Kasi po on top of our regular seminar episodes, thanks to ARIA Incorporated or the Advocates of Research and Innovation in Agriculture, we had additional episodes. So there were months na nakakadalawang episodes po tayo. So that's because we had our regular episodes and of course that of ARIA. So in a few weeks, it will just be 2026, New Year na malapit na. And we have probably listed our New Year's resolutions. And maybe some of us are also anxious about the change that's going to happen. Ako po personally, iniisip ko, would everything I have right now still be present in the future? Kasi I really want to preserve everything that I have right now eh. So today we are going to talk about preservation of animal DNA, quote unquote DNA. Officially, the title of the seminar is Utilization and Profiling of Cryopreserved Semen of Swine and Goat for Sustainable Utilization of Genetic Resources. But before we introduce our speaker and formally start the knowledge sharing, of course, yung usual reminders po, comment nyo po yung location and affiliation nyo para malaman po natin kung hanggang saan ang naabot ng ating seminar series at ng serbisyo ng bar. And of course, follow niyo po yung social media pages namin. So it's facebook.com/dabarofficial. And also po, since tatanggalin po ni Meta yung live videos in 30 days, if you want to revisit past seminar episodes, please follow our YouTube account. So it's Bureau of Agricultural Research or DA Bar Official or youtube.com/@DA Bar Official. And also we are posting one form only, the attendance sheet. And please sundan nyo po yung lecture kasi ipopost namin siya just before the lecture ends. And you have to answer it before 12 noon. And lastly and most importantly, tanong po tayo sa ating expert kasi bigatin po siya. And it's a privilege for us to have her right now here. So without further ado, we will be meeting our expert in a moment. So our resource speaker obtained her Bachelor of Science in Biology, pre-professional in 2022 from Brigham Young University, Hawaii, through the International Work Experience Scholarship Program. She earned her Master of Science in Marine Science with a specialization in marine biotechnology in 2013 from the Marine Science Institute at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, with a thesis grant from the Philippines of Department of Science and Technology. In 2012, she completed the Doctor of Philosophy in Agricultural Science at the Tokyo University of Agriculture under the Tokyo University of Agriculture Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture Scholarship or the Tokyo Nodai Circa Scholarship. And her work focuses on conservation of animal genetic resources from livestock species and enhancing sustainable production systems. She is primarily responsible for improving the operational aspects of the cryobank, particularly in molecular identification, cryopreservation, database management, and public information campaigns. She plays a vital role in strengthening connections with farmers, researchers, government agencies, private sectors, academic institutions, and other stakeholders to maximize the utility of the NLC for the in vitro cryoconservation of livestock, as well as indigenous, wild, and endangered animal genetic resources. The highlights of her local and international awards include Outstanding Leader in Livestock Biotechnology during the 9th Filipino Phases of Biotechnology by the Department of Agriculture Biotech Program Office 2024. Also, the Professor Yu Hang Kim Young Women Scientist Award from the Association of Academies and Societies of Sciences in Asia in 2024, and the Asian Scientist 100 list on its 10th edition of the 100 Asian Honorees granted on August 18, 2025. Let's warmly welcome Dr. Lillian P. Villamor, Career Scientist 1 and the head of the National Livestock Cryobank, and a senior science research specialist at the Department of Agriculture, Philippine Carabao Center. So, good morning po, Doc Lillian.
Good morning, Christina. Thank you for that nice introduction.
Thank you po, ma'am. That's very well deserved of you. And salamat po sa pagpaunlak sa amin kahit sobrang dami ng nasa schedule mo. So ngayon po, medyo feeling ko po masyado ka madaming madidiscuss right now. So bibigay ko na po sa iyo ang floor. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So, once again, thank you for the DA Bar family, headed by Director Joel Lales, and also the other divisions, including the Knowledge Management Division, for making me part of this DA Bar webinar for this month. So, amazing. That's how we say it in the Philippine Carabao Center. So let me start with the mind-boggling question. Can you see now my PowerPoint? Okay, let me just. Okay. Am I loud and clear? Okay, so the silence means yes, I think. Okay, so let me start with the mind-boggling question. If detrimental diseases and the drastic effects of climate change, such as super typhoon, drought, and so forth, would wipe out the goat and cattle breeds in the Philippines, what would the livestock farmers do? Or in other words, ano po ba ang pwedeng gawin ng ating mga magsasaka sa paghahayop o sa kahayupan? One thing for sure, they could reach the Department of Agriculture, Philippine Carabao Center, the National Livestock Cryobank for this concern. So I'm grateful that I will be able to share with you one of the outputs of the research on cryopreservation of these different genetics from cattle and goat semen for conservation purposes. And I'm
Doc, hello
grateful.
po.
Yes, yes.
Hi.
Can
Wala pong naka-flash sa screen right now, Doc. Gusto mo po kami na mag-take over? Sir Jim, kaya mo po bang ma-take over yung presentation ng slides?
ay sandali lang po. Wait lang po.
Yes.
Let me try again.
Okay po, sige po, Doc.
Present na lang po muna.
Okay. Is it now working? Wala pa rin.
Nawala po
Sige.
ulit.
So, I
Pag-present po.
Is it now working or
Present po ulit yung presentation mo, ma'am.
wala? Bakit kaya?
Ayan po. Iba na po siya.
F5 mo po siguro, Doc.
Ano po?
S5?
S5?
F5.
Ay,
F-
F5?
Apo.
How's that? Okay na?
Nawawala-wala po, ma'am.
Wala pa rin. Talagang sige,
Sige
magagawa natin ang
Sir
paraan
Jim, do we
dito.
have... Okay po. Sige po. Sir Jim, do you have a copy of Doc's, of Doc's PPT?
Meron.
Okay po. Sige po. Doc, for now, try po namin na i-upload on our end. Then maybe kami na lang din mag-present on our end with your queue. Try po muna namin.
Okay, sige po. Okay, so, okay. Is it now working? Ako nakikita ko na sa aking
Yes po. Working na po.
Okay na? O sige. So we
Sige
will
po,
have,
Doc.
we will
Thank you.
do some adjustment a little bit. Okay, part 2. Okay, from the top. So I would like to ask you a mind-boggling question. Na, if drastic effects of climate change and detrimental diseases will wipe out the cattle and goat breeds in the Philippines, what would the livestock farmers do? Ano po ba ang pwede nilang gawin? One thing for sure, they can seek the help of the Department of Agriculture, Philippine Carabao Center in the National Livestock Cryobank. Next, please. I am grateful that I'll be part of this DA Bar online seminar series, and I am grateful for the researchers and proponents I work with. They're very dedicated. Why? Because even over time they can really work hard and do many things for this initiative on the program of the cryobank. So from cryobank to farm, this is like a simple title for this webinar: optimizing cattle and goat semen cryopreservation for genetic conservation. So disclaimer lang, there's nothing new about cryobank in compared with other parts of the world. Across the globe, there are like gene banks for animal genetic resources. And cryopreservation is a technology that has been in the industry across the globe as well. But one thing new about this topic that I will share with you is that bringing the cryobank to the farm. So reaching how we will able to preserve these genetics to the farm and do the rest in the laboratory. So next, moving forward, this is like a better representation of what we do in the cryobank. So here it also highlighted not only the cattle, goat, but also the swine breeds. So marami na pong binaback up na genetics dito sa National Livestock Cryobank, and that is the good news. And actually, this is all started in the Carabao, in the water buffaloes in the Philippines. So I would like to discuss 2 points. It starts with C's. The first C is what is cryobank, and the second C is what is cryopreservation. Next, please. So when you think about cryobank, it can be syllabicated into the word two syllables: cryo and bank, which means yung cryo is referring to cold temperature, bank is preservation. And basically, to describe it vividly, it is an ex situ in vitro conservation for animal genetic resources, leading to sustainable animal production systems. Let's simplify it a little bit. Why it is ex situ? Ex situ because it's outside the natural habitat or the live population. So it's basically, usually you can see the tanks in here. They are these are the tanks or the cryo tanks for preserving the genetics for long-term storage, and I'll tell you more about this later. And this is a conservation for the genetic resources known as ANGR, which include the germplasms. So these are the reproductive cells such as the sperm, oocytes, embryos, and also non-reproductive, such as DNA for the downstream analysis for species identification. And what we do in here is to support the animal production systems because we want the farmers to be happy. We want them to know that the Department of Agriculture is mindful of their needs and their problems. That's why we would like to do research to back up the genetics while the animals are still alive and productive. So kung titingnan po natin how we will name the cryobank, it is just like the modern Noah's Ark. So in the Philippine setting, we can also known as the Juan's Ark. So dito may forever. So can you do the thumbs up sa ating mga audience kung narinig nyo na ba ang cryobank? Meron, okay? So can you do the heart react kung nakapunta na kayo physically o nabisita nyo na po ang cryobank? Okay, so konti pa lang po. So it's and also confetti kapag kayo na po ay nagwo-work in cryopreservation in different parts of the Philippines. and cryobanking. So it's I really asked that question intentionally para po malaman namin how we can better increase or expand our program to reach your farm for backing up the genetic resources. So next, please. So this is where the National Livestock Cryobank located. It's in the Science City of Muñoz. So if you're coming from Manila, it will like a 5-hour drive depending on the traffic. So please visit us and let's learn more about what we do in the National Livestock Cryobank to help your farm into sustainable animal production system. Next. So they just appreciate kung ano po ba pinanggalingan o ano history ng cryobank in the Philippines. And actually, this is the only cryobank in the Philippines right now. But the good news is the Department of Agriculture is looking forward for the expansion of the cryobank to different islands in the Philippines, the major islands in Visayas and Mindanao. So it's exciting to prepare for that program to expand the National Livestock Cryobank. So in 2008, through the Administrative Order Number 9, Series of 2008, the Philippine Carabao Center leads the Department of Agriculture for Animal Biotechnology Program. So it's true, our main commodity is Carabao, but through the animal biotechnology, we also work with other commodities, cattle, goat, swine, poultry, and so forth. Then in 2010, a state-of-the-art cryobank facility was established through the support of the international partners from the United States of America through PL480 and also the KOICA or the Korean government. And then in 2012, the operationalization and management of cryobank was established. So nag-start na doon ang banking. And most of the superior genetics of the Carabaos have been backed up, the imported and also the native ones. So nag-start na po ang forever sa Calabao. And then in 2014, the implementing guidelines of the cryobanking were established, and moving forward to 2018, na-introduce dyan ang molecular analysis and data banking and animal genetic resources were strengthened. And then amid the pandemic in 2021, the PCC Cryobank unit, which is part of the research division, it was inaugurated as the National Livestock Cryobank. So that was really a good news. In that way, we can have more encompassing and more expand a strategy on backing up various breeds of different species. Next, please. So this is just this is a take an assignment to everyone to know yung Administrative Order Number 31 Series of 2021 declaring the Department of Agriculture yung cryobank as the National Livestock Cryobank. Kasi napaka-importante po nito so that in their future collaboration and how we will work together, you would know what are our objectives and mandates. Nakadetalye po dito. And also the Memorandum Circular Number 04, ito naman po implementing guidelines. Okay, next. So, just to scan about the details of this, mabilisan lang po ito about the objectives. The program mainly, the purpose of the program is to preserve the diversity of animal genetic resources from different species, indigenous, domesticated, recently introduced breeds, which have economic importance and exhibit the adaptable and resilient traits towards diseases and environmental elements in the country. So the Department of Agriculture is really have that wide perspective and vision that nadaramdaman na kasi natin yung climate change, that we need to back up those genetic resources that will be used for future in animal production system. And moving forward for these specific objectives, next please. The mandate is to serve as the national germplasm repository of these different species, to lead the establishment or strengthening the ex situ conservation for livestock breeds and species. So the ex situ, kasi po ang conservation is merong in situ, which is the live population in the natural habitat, and we are also backing up yung mga live population. Let me tell you a story, like in the Carabao Sanctuary. May Carabao Sanctuary po tayo sa Pilipinas, sa Calayan Island, and also for the Bohol, Pitogo Island, for the native water buffaloes. So yung native carabaos natin. So yung live populations na yon ng animals will be back up here in the cryobanking. So similarly, in other species, such as may mga nucleus farms po ang Department of Agriculture and different regional offices, we are also here to help them out to back up the genetic resources. Kasi yun naman din po ang sources ng genetics for dispersal and so forth. So the third mandate is to support the livestock sectors. That's why we're happy that through this webinar, we can disseminate yung mga programang ginagawa at mga research para po magtulong-tulungan po tayo. So hindi namin ito magagawa without you, and we need your perspective para po mas lalong palakasin po natin ang programa sa conservation of the animal genetic resources. Next, please. And this is just a landscape of how we do it. Information campaign. We need request approval. We, of course, meeting with the client, and also material transfer agreement. We discuss the guidelines and so forth. Of course, the biological samples that will be deposited, kailangan na i-screen din yan for health, animal health ng mga biological samples na yan, and it is a team with the animal health group, and also with the certification ng Bureau of Animal Industry that would help, and also the data banking for the inventory, and also an important part is the storage for long-term storage. So moving forward, next please. This is to show you how the landscape of the conservation accessions that are available in the National Livestock Cryobank. I just started with the 2014, but of course in 2008 may banking na yon. But if you will see the trend, it's understandable, mataas po sa buffaloes. Kasi dun po nag-start ang cryopreservation and cryobanking. And then in 2014, only the two species were back up, the buffalo and few of the cattle. And then moving forward, it's consistent, the highest in buffalo in 2015, and nag-increase na lang po pagdating po ng 2025, I should say. And also the goat started in 2020 through 2024, and the swine is 1.04. And then up to now, may bumaba lang siya ng 2025 because of the utilization. But the story of this slide is to let us know na may naka-back up, but there's still need to increase the accessions. So that will that's an indication that there are things to work more on this, and also to collaborate with the livestock farmers and the industry, how we can help each other for these accessions for sustainable sources of genetics toward food security. So next. So with the help of the Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agriculture Research, in 2023, they supported the Philippine Carabao Center on two projects. One is the swine breeds, but this will not be discussed because we have limited time. But I would like to focus on the second project. It was implemented at the same year in 2023, and it's about the improvement of the cattle and goat breeds cryopreservation protocols. Because it's very important that in the cryobanking, cryopreservation on how you preserve this germplasm, the cells, would be preserved for long-term storage. And this would be one of my talks that I would like to give focus on, the cryopreservation research outputs. Next, please. For this research, the main objectives is, actually the general objective is to improve the cryopreservation germplasms from cattle and goat in the Philippine setting. So ginagawa na po ang cryopreservation in other countries across the globe. However, this is not a common scenario or common techniques that are being implemented dito sa Pilipinas, especially for the goat. Kasi ang alam natin, ang goat ay mainly natural mating lang, and then they are not trained for semen collection. So in the end, what do you do with these superior and precious goat breeds kung hindi natin iba-backup yung genetics nila para magamit pa na mapadami ang population ng goat and the same time with the cattle. And this project specifically wanted to validate the breed identification. It's important na alam natin anong breed yon na pinag-aaralan natin, because later on, we would like to correlate it kung merong breed specificity ba pagdating sa use of cryopreservation protocols. And also the next objective is to identify the cryosurvival biomarkers to help us understand what makes this particular breed resilient, or yung kanyang mga germplasm would survive in ultra low temperature and others would not. In that way, we have a way to optimize the protocols on cryopreservation for different breeds if that is needed. And the third objective is, of course, to improve the cryopreservation protocol. So we have different parameters, including the sperm quality. We evaluated the sperm kinematics, the morphological characteristics of this sperm in terms of acrosome integrity, morphological characteristics, when we compare the different protocols that we optimized. Sige, next please. So this is the outline of the methodology, whether we implemented for the cattle cryopreservation or the goat cryopreservation. So mainly, let's start with this semen collection and initial assessment. So punta po kami sa farm kasi ang usually set up po is sa isang nucleus herd, andun na rin po yung laboratory. So collecting the animals, train the animals, and then pupunta ng right within the vicinity, doon na po ipaprocess yung ano. However, this is a different scenario. This time, dahil wala pong enough or infrastructure, ang mga different farms or even other regional offices sa Department of Agriculture, what we have to do is just like a mobile laboratory wherein we go to the farm. Of course, we have a lot of preparation between the farm owners, yung animals nila, technician, and so forth. But the concept is we assist on the collection of the semen, and we have the initial assessment. And then from then on, this will be transported to the cryobank. That's why we have to do freezing extender in order to protect the cells, the sperm cells, while traveling. So napaka-importante po ng step na to optimize it. Imagine we will be traveling from 2 to 3 hours from farm to the laboratory. And then we also do the freezing protocols, optimize it in a way. We have to do the manual and the programmable freezing of semen. So manual is just like a styrobox thing, but you need to be your research team should know the technicalities of preserving the genetics during transportation, as well as yung proper maintaining the proper optimum temperature while transporting the genetics. And also the programmable freezer is a controlled it's an equipment, automated. It's a controlled system, which is very important when you are doing the ultra low freezing of the genetics. And this is stored in negative 196 degrees Celsius. So can you imagine? Di ba parang sa movie lang na parang nagsusurvive ang mga biological sample, but it's true that the sperm cells can survive in negative 196 degrees Celsius for long-term storage. And then thawing, it's part of the evaluation. When you want to utilize the frozen semen, you have to evaluate it prior to utilization, or in the general application is the artificial insemination. So pinapasok na po natin motility and morphology analysis. So starting pa lang from the collection of fresh semen, the portion of it will be assessed for the breed identification. We have to identify what breeds these species are, and also we do the extraction of RNA for gene expression, knowing yung mga biomarkers kasi sinasabi ko previously, kung ano ba yung make these breeds survive, yung kanilang sperm would survive in harsh environment. Kasi liquid nitrogen for negative 196 degrees Celsius, that could be harsh for the sperm cells, pero if you properly do the protection or proper techniques on doing the cryopreservation, definitely they will survive. Next, please. So what is now cryopreservation? So next, please. So please allow me to share with you. Okay, can you show it now? Ay, ayaw. Sige. So basically hindi nagpe-play. But anyways, basically it's just like an overall concept that what I share with you in details, the methodology is basically the cryopreservation perspective. So basically, ito yung pinipreserve yung mga cells using, pinapalakas mo siya before freezing. So you add sugars, you add buffers to maintain the optimum environment before freezing. And then in that way, sorry, not that one. Sorry, not that one. Hindi po yan. Sige, let's go back to the results and discussion. So basically, ay, hindi rin po yan. Okay lang po. Let's skip those. I will, let's go to the results and discussion. So, now I'm talking to you about cryopreservation now. It's basically cryopreserving the cells with using the cryoprotectants and also enough sugars for these cells to stay active, and then to protect this when you submerge it in liquid nitrogen for long-term storage. So let me take you to the cattle breeds. Next, please. Okay, so remember the first objective, identify the breeds. So sa aming result po sa research namin ay these are some of the breeds that we were able to help out the farmers to confirm the identification of the breeds. Girolando, Brahman, Indo-Brazil, Red Brahman, and so forth with the reference. So this is just like a population structure. So yung bawat individual na to, yung K2, K3, K4, K5, ibig sabihin lang po na yun na if we will cluster this DNA sequence, DNA information ng mga animals, it will be clustering into 2, into 3, into 4. Pero optimum po nito that agrees with our biological story is that yung K4, which is there are 4 clusters in here, meaning yung Girolando, these individuals of Girolando are clustered together. They have the same color representative, and also the Brahman, the blue ones, and the blue ones, in referring to the reference, they are identified to be Brahman. However, the Indo-Brazil confirmed na ano po sila, crosses siya. And the same thing with the Red Brahman. So with this information, that will allow us to identify na kapag nagkaroon kami ng downstream analysis for cryopreservation and other biomarkers evaluation, we would know yung behavior or understand the mechanism, physiological mechanism ng mga different breeds na ito. So having said that, now let's move to the cryopreservation outputs. So, oh, sorry. So this now will not be playing. But anyways, this is the donor bull from Girolando. Just to capture, this is about, the storage is about 21 months, but after the evaluation, it still maintained the 83% motility. So ibig sabihin buhay siya. So itong, kung makikita nyo po ito, though it's not yet playing, but the progressive motility kapag may red po yan, hindi lang po makita dito. Ito po yung mga gusto mong tracking that will penetrate the oocyte or yung female egg. And then the medium motile for the green, and the slow motile and the immotile. So this is how we evaluate the sperm kinematics para po using the computer-assisted sperm analyzer. So next, please. Okay, so this is like the pre-freeze. So it means, ito naman yung situation ng sperm motility 92% at 5 degrees Celsius. So this is a step prior to freezing, which is subjected to negative 196 degrees Celsius. So the total motility and progressive motility is 28%. So sa industry, they usually accept the motility prior to artificial insemination na around 30 to 35%. So this is a good indicator na we can have the higher the motility, especially the total motility, that's one of the factors that it will be a successful fertilization for the sperm to penetrate the oocyte. Next, please. Okay. Sa aming mga phenotypic information, when we were going to different farms and also gathering information about the age of the animals, this is mainly the summary of the results. So yung beat cross frequency measures how often the sperm head crosses the average path. So with this, from the fresh sample, there is a pattern of increasing, for the increasing age, there is an increasing BCF. So that is a good indicator. But only take note that it's only limited to 20 months to 100, but also few samples in 120 months. So it just tells us na kapag matured ang mga sperm cells, they can survive in cryopreservation. So with this, ayaw natin ng too young na mga donor bulls and then too old. So with this study, it established between 20 to 120, at least there is an increase of BCF. Next. Okay, how does the environmental factors affect on the fresh? Why I give emphasis on the fresh sample? Kasi at the beginning pa lang, kung ang fresh mo ay pangit na ang motility, you cannot expect the survival of these sperm cells kapag sinubject mo pa siya sa harsh environment. That's why it's the fresh motility as well as the progressive motility, which is a good indicator for fertilizing the oocyte or the female egg. It's a good way to know kung worth it pa ba i-cryopreserve kapag ganito ang kanyang motility or progressive motility. How we also established the pattern na yung with the progressive motility but a weak relationship that there's an increase of progressive motility with increasing temperature, majority from 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. But it was a decrease percent motility when there is an decrease of humidity of the environment. So there's a weak relationship, and the more data that we can add to it, this will establish how the environmental factors on fresh semen affect the cryopreservation downstream analysis. Okay, next. So ito po yung mga variables na tinignan namin pagdating sa kinematic parameters using the CASA o Computer-Assisted Sperm Analyzer. Percent motility, progressive motility, ano po yung mga yaan? Yung tinitingnan po nating percent motility is basically yung percentage of sperm in a sample that show any kind of movement regardless of speed or direction. Progressive motility is a good indicator of the sperm to fertilize the egg. So they are actively moving forward, typically in a straight or large circular path. So, and so forth. So we have the kinematics for VAP, average path velocity, straight line velocity, straightness, linearity, wobble, amplitude, and beat cross frequency. So basically, tinitingnan po natin yung movement with the use of CASA, a very important equipment in analyzing the kinematics of the sperm cells. You can use that evaluation for fresh, for pre-freeze, as well as for the posto, which means yung posto, yun po yung cryopreserve ng mga genetics. Next, please. So what is the pattern now? Now we're talking about the posto semen motility. Ito na po yung na-store na sa liquid nitrogen. And then, what's next? buhay pa rin ba sila? So this is a summary showing for different breeds of cattle that we included in our study: Girolando, Brahman, crossed with Angus, Brahman pure, Indo-Brazil, and Wagyu. With the semen extender that we use for this particular, the semen extender A, Girolando has increased percent motility, progressive motility, and wobble. And it also showed a significant increase of the kinematic parameters for Brahman and Angus, specifically for the linearity, amplitude of lateral head displacement, beat cross frequency. And this implied that there is a pattern. Um, there is a pattern um, that different breeds would have different reaction on the protocols that we subjected these animals, which means the combination of the different phenotypic characteristics, the environment, as well as the different extenders that we used. We used two types of extender, and also the importance of considering the programmable freezing protocol, which is manual and programmable freezer. And this study also proved that the programmable freezer combined with the semen extender A had higher and significant kinematic parameters compared with those in the manual and when the same extender. So nakikita na natin dito initially na merong breed specificity. However, we need to have more data to strengthen that claim. Next, please. Okay, so these are the freezing extenders using the freezing extender A and freezing extender B. And it showed a similar pattern that yung freezing extender A has higher values on the different kinematic parameters. Which means also yung freezing extender B is doing okay na kumbaga yung post-toe motility niya is above for the total motility and progressive motility is above 20%, which means that they could still be a good extender, but it is more higher. It's higher for the FEA. Next, please. And the same pattern for the freezing protocols, comparing the manual freezing and programmable freezing. There is a highly significant for the programmable freezing. However, medyo costly ang programmable freezer. It's about around million, 3 million something. Manual freezing is still okay with the styro boxes with the optimum height and time to freeze the samples, but you need to have trained researchers, technicians to do it dahil maraming mga parameters to consider to control the freezing protocol. Next, please. Okay, this is one of my favorite slides showing the interaction, the freezing extender and the freezing protocol for post-thaw kinematic parameters. So basically with this progressive motility, there is a significant interaction between the FE and the FP. Let me explain to you one by one. So yung freezing extender here, which is in color 1, and then color orange for the 2 represents the programmable freezing, and the blue color line shows the manual freezing protocol. And comparing with the 2 freezing extender, you would see the pattern, the freezing extender B, with using both freezing protocols, manual and programmable, higher ang progressive motility pagdating sa programmable. And that is significantly increased in programmable. And also in the manual for the FEA, programmable freezing protocol is still favorable. So this is to reiterate that the combined extender and freezing extender for A is higher when it is combined with the programmable freezing. Next, please. Okay, so remember, one of the objectives also is to understand what are the biomarker for cryosurvival, and also we look into the fertility. So these are the few significant DEGs, yung mga nagkaroon ng gene expression when it comes to fertility, and even though they were subjected to post-motility, they were significant fertility genes, and also cryosurvival and other information for the gene markers. Next, please. So, importante ang morphology. Dahil kahit gumagalaw siya o may motility ka nakikita, it's important to know if the sperm morphology is still normal. Dahil kung abnormal siya, yung tail niya, yung head niya, they are not good for fertilization. They will not penetrate the oocyte. So, in here with the semen extender A and programmable freezer, it showed high percent of normal spermatogenesis. So this is the picture of the normal morphology. Intact ang head, yung tail. Okay, however, this is to contrast with the abnormality, yung bent tail, curled tail, fragmented tail, damaged tail. You don't want of those. So yun yung aming sinubaybayan when we are comparing different protocols across semen extenders, freezing extenders, programmable freezing protocols, and so forth. Those are the things that we extend so that when we will be able to share the protocols and the technology for cryopreservation to the industry and to the livestock farmers, we are sure that what we optimize would still have good motility as well as good morphology, and express the genes that have cryosurvival and also for the fertilization. Next, please. So this is another morphological assessment to ensure that the sperm acrosome would be normal. So ito yung non-reacted, dito sa A, slide, and then sa B figure, ito yung mga parang may halo. So that means meron silang reaction sa different protocols. So the more you have the normal ones, the non-reacted, that would be an indicator that the frozen semen could be penetrate the oocyte. So it's always fertilization kasi the more na maraming nabubuntis na animals, the more na maraming manganganak, at mas maging masaya ang kita ng mga farmers. So yun lang po ang ating gustong message doon. Next, please. Okay, now we're done with the cattle breeds. Let's move forward sa goat breeds. Next, please. Okay, so will you play the video? It's a testimonial of Mr. Randy Valerio, the owner of the R.O. Valerio Farm, who was the first taker. Siya po yung nagsabing, when we introduced we would like to do the cryobanking and the cryopreservation of goat semen, Mr. Valerio said, okay, come on in, let's work together. Please watch the video.
Ako si Randy Valerio, owner of this farm, R.O. Valerio Dairy Farm sa Sitio Bubu, Barangay San Vicente, Bacolod, Pampanga. So nung with Doc Lily, natuwa kami dahil isa ito sa part ng technology na hinahanap namin dito sa industriya. At nakita namin na napakagandang pagkakataon ito upang mangyari dito sa farm. At welcome ang technology dito sa R.O. Valerio Dairy Farm. So, napaka-importante nito sa amin dahil yung back o yung sire namin na dinidevelop at sooner or later baka mawala sila. At nakita naman namin through din sa mga ibinaba sa amin ng cryobank kung ano ang kanilang mandate, ay talagang panahon na para i-preserve natin yung magagandang similya o magagandang lahi ng ating mga kambing through cryobank. At kami ay lubos na nagpapasalamat sa mga ganitong pagkakataon na pumasok dito sa aming
Okay. Sige. Thank you. So, yun po ang testimonial ni Sir Valerio. And actually for our phase 2, just give you a excitement. So, ginamit niya yung ginamit din niya yung goat cryopreserve to produce more, hopefully, ng pregnancy sa kanyang goat breeds sa farm. Sige, next please. Okay, having said that, we also, the same thing with the cattle breeds, we also established the breeds of these goat breeds in different farms. Actually, not only Sir Valerio, but also the other goat farms. So we have the Anglo-Nubians. It was well established that the Anglo-Nubians are clustering together and puro sila. And then sa Anen, Alpine sa Anen, and La Mancha sa Anen. So with this, we're not able to successfully delineate further yung mga crosses, especially for the Saanen and so forth, because we need to add more markers to strengthen the claim na ito yung kanilang breed identification. At least we have an idea the possibility of the breed identification of these different breeds. So moving forward, next please. Okay. So this is another representative video, supposedly, but just to give you an idea, this was collected in May 28, 2025, but kasi kinapture na rin namin yung utilization nito. However, yung motility nito is, like an example, is 89%, and then you will see the red tracking referring to the progressive motility of these animals, and the few ones, those yung mga slow motile, medium motile. So if we will capture this video, makikita rin natin na we evaluated at least 500 sperm cells to establish the average of the different kinematic parameters of this specific donor. Next, please. This is just to capture the utilization of the goat frozen semen. Medyo advanced ito in a way na the other phase of the study was also to use it. Bakit? Kasi napaka-importante yung utilization, and we're grateful sa happy pressure na meron kami sa industry, as well as highly encouragement of the Department of Agriculture, the Bureau of Agricultural Research, na gamitin ang frozen semen. So this was conducted in September 2025, and projected kidding date is on February 16, 2026. So basically, this, to capture the success story, na-test po itong frozen semen from goat breeds, and they proved to have fertilizing the oocytes. So we have about 80% of those success rate for this particular farm. And this was done by a trained technician, agriculturist as well, si Sir Niall David, who helped us out for this utilization through artificial insemination of the frozen semen. Okay, next please. So will you please play the original video? And this is one of the last video I will share with you, and it basically give us an overview of what we do in the cryobank, and also what we do in the cryopreservation of this precious genetics from cattle and goat semen. Please watch the video. Okay, thank you very much. Um, let's now, okay, can we move to the next slide? Okay, so the question is why we do cryobank and cryopreservation. These are all the advantages: cost effective, reducing the reliance on expensive imports, advanced breeding techniques, more accessible to small scale farmers. So with this demonstration of the research and also proving that the cryopreserved semen could have success pregnancy, it's a good news to everyone kasi we can do it locally sa Pilipinas at magiging mas mura po ito. So the importance of preserving the indigenous breeds, native, especially for these resilient traits of the native ones, and of course the commercial breeds, they all important so that yung mga frozen semen could be used again for their animal production system. And that is in line and complement with the natural mating, traditionally being done, as well as yung mga fresh semen AI, freshly extended semen AI na ginagawa din po sa mga usually ginagawa po yan sa mga swine breeds. And also the economic importance of this is to foster sustainability through greater self-sufficiency. And of course, they stimulate economic development in rural areas by creating jobs and boosting agricultural productivity toward food security. And next, please. To conclude my presentation, next, please. This is to summarize that the importance of breed identification. Kailangan nating alamin kung anong breed siya so that we can optimize or customize our sperm cryopreservation protocols because breed has effect on sperm motility values. For the RNA sequencing, this indicates highly similar molecular responses which align with the both protocols optimal for phosphoviability. And the top 10 DEGs, yung gene markers na yon, will be selected for further evaluation to ensure or to confirm the association with cryosurvival and fertility. And in terms of optimized cryopreservation protocol, yung Semen Extender A, when it is paired with the programmable freezing protocol, it offers the most reliable and effective approach for preserving semen quality in cattle breeds for both motility tsaka yung morphology of spermatozoa. So how about kung wala ka namang programmable freezer? The option is the manual freezing, which is a practical second option. And then, in conclusion, for the goat breeds, next please, it's the similar approach, the importance of breed identification. And the research highlighted that the Anglo-Nubian confirmed to have ancestry to this species for the 97%, while the others have clear admixture patterns. And this mixed clustering suggests potential crossbreeding of shared ancestral origins among the Saanen, the Alpine, and the La Mancha breeds. The Saanen breeds exhibit significantly higher progressive motility compared to other breeds. So for other breeds that have been mentioned, they have their mean values, but they do not differ significantly from one another within the limits of statistical uncertainty. And then we tried the transcriptome for the RNA sequencing of this species. However, due to limitation on the number of fresh semen sample, there's still a need to further studies on the storage optimization of the extracted total RNA for both fresh and cryopreserved sperm specimens. So among the protocols tested, the Semen Extender A paired with programmable freezer is producing the best post-thought sperm motility and quality across breeds. So remember, programmable freezing is is highly recommended. However, if there is a limitation on the use of programmable freezer, the 4.5 centimeter manual freezing will serve as a second option. And in closing, next please. Ito ay isang pangarap para sa industriya ng pagbabaka at pagkakambing. Kapag na-cryopreserve natin ang mga sperm ng different species po na ito, we only need at least 2 frozen semen straws of these to be utilized. So for instance, ito yung projected semen straw that will be sa blue line colors. If this is the projected semen straw, and then you will use 2 semen straws for artificial insemination using this red line, and then there will be at least, and if there will be at least 50% success rate, there will still be significant increase of the cattle breeds and goat breeds that will be produced in the Philippines. So this is, ito yung pangarap na kapag nagtulong-tulungan po tayo na the livestock farmers would back up the genetics and this will be used for artificial insemination in the future, we will be able to have a sustainable sources of genetics as well as increase the production of these animals. And next, please. And this is one of my favorite closing sentiments that says, don't cry over spilled milk. When it is spilled, you cannot take it back. So in other words, kung natapon ang gatas, wala ka nang magagawa. And how we can relate it to the cryopreservation and cryobanking of animal genetic resources. If animal died or due to diseases or drastic effect of climate change, we can do something about it if we cryobank them. So the goal is, while the animals are still alive and productive, procrastinate not the cryobanking of these important genetics in your farm and in our country. So magtulungan po tayo. We can communicate, we can strategize, and we can help each other to make it happen. And with that, next please. Gusto ko lang pong i-recognize ang previous and the current team ng National Livestock Cryobank, mga young and dedicated researchers who work with me. And then next, please. And of course, we cannot do it alone. We need the help of the different agencies in the Department of Agriculture, the livestock, the livestock farmers from private, and also the nucleus farms in the government agencies. And then next, please. With this, please follow us on Facebook. Marami po kayong makikita mga updates namin tungkol sa activities and programs of the National Livestock Cryobank. Please communicate to us. We will appreciate that. And with that, thank you once again. Next, please. Thank you once again for the DA Bar family headed by Dr. Director Joel Lales and the team, the Knowledge Management Division, for having us impart with you about cryobanking and the cryopreservation of animal genetic resources. Maraming salamat, daghang salamat sa inyong lahat.
And maraming salamat din po, sobra, Doc Lilian, for this interesting and comprehensive presentation on the preservation of genetic resources of cattle and goat through cryobank. So, yun medyo kulang na po ang ating time. So, bawasan ko na po yung reminders. And as much as Doc Lilian was very excited earlier kung ano daw yung audience kasi parang excited siya, feeling niya madaming farmers. So, sorry Doc, kulang na po tayo sa time. So, may konting questions lang po tayong ma-entertain from our viewers. Also disclaimer din lang po kasi they're in the process, so Doc Lilian's team is in the process of yung sa intellectual property po. So there might be some questions or information na bawal nilang i-disclose. So for now po, I'll be flashing the questions. So we have 3 questions from Sir Jericho Consolacion. Doc, if bawal pong i-disclose, just tell us po. But I'll be flashing it for now, okay po? So, yan. What type of environmental factor did you include? I think this was on slides 24 to 26 po.
Okay. So yung mga environmental factors that we include sa study or we assess are the temperature, which is the temperature of the environment, the humidity, but not the season itself.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. And eto po from Sir Jericho uli. Eto po, I'm not sure if you can disclose this. Bawal po, no?
Yeah, for right now,
Composition.
hindi po muna po, but yeah, we have basically two semen extenders that we compared, the freezing extender A and the freezing extender B. So right now we cannot yet.
Okay po. And eto po, can you answer this with a yes or no
Yeah,
or bawal pa din po?
it's okay naman. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
general protocol for understanding the morphology of the sperm cells. So we use one of those components, yung sperm blue, for staining.
Okay. And another one from Sir Jericho.
Wow.
So,
What
yeah.
dapat Sir Jericho mag-uusap tayo, no? So that we can help we can help yung farm niyo po for this. What about the sperm head morphometry and other parts of the sperms? Are they still in good or high quality? Yes, we did the morphological, yun nga po yung acrosome integrity as well as yung morphological characteristics ng kanilang head, ng tail. We did that. And also yung kinematics niya. So they go side by side to monitor that with each protocol, with each changes that we do, or each change or tweak na ginagawa namin sa optimization ng cryopreservation, we evaluate those. So like what I said with the semen extender combined with the programmable freezer, they based on our available data, that protocol produce a higher normal morphology for the sperm head.
Okay, thank you, Doc. So, Doc, medyo bibilisan ko po yung pag-flash sa'yo, ha? So, ito po from Miss Jessa Adon, yung percentage daw po yung ng success rate and kung available daw po ba sa ibang region.
Okay, so yung first question, success rate, for the cattle, yes, hindi bababa ng 40%, but we could increase it to 90% actually, even after cryopreservation. So that's the good thing. And also for the goat, similarly within 40 to 80, something like that. Yung may available na ba, ito ba yung tanong regarding kung cryopreservation or cryobanking can be done in other regions? Ito po ba yung tanong na yon? May available na po ba sa iba't ibang region na ganyan?
Feeling ko po, ma'am, and this is also related to the next question.
Okay, kung regarding po sa kung available na yung facility nito ng cryobank, meron po sa Philippine Carabao Center, cryopreservation for the water buffaloes sa Los Baños, meron po, and also in Nueva Ecija, in Caranglan. I know some for the thing po sa cryopreservation for cattle, there are some private farms who do it. Pero the Bureau of Animal Industry, they do the cryopreservation of cattle. So meron sila sa Malaybalay, Bukidnon, here sa Nueva Ecija. Pero pagdating sa goat, I'm aware that somewhere in Isabela, they are also doing it. Pero having said that, limited lang po talaga yung facility ng cryopreservation laboratories. However, for the cryobanking, for the long-term storage of this frozen semen, not only in carabaos and other species, but also in other species, ay nag-iisa lang po ngayon ito sa Nueva Ecija, sa buong Pilipinas. Pero po, dahil mahal na mahal tayo ng Department of Agriculture, it is considering na magkaroon po ng malawakang cryobanking, hopefully, in the few years to come sa iba't ibang major islands in the Philippines. So, let's hope for that.
Thank you. Sana nga po, Doc. Ito po, is it free daw po for farmers? Or yung sa PCC po ba, is it more of long-term storage lang talaga? Tapos yung ibang facilities like what you said in Isabela and Los Baños, sila yung parang for breeding immediately? Yun po ba yung ano?
Yung sa Los Baños po ng Calabao, usually sa nucleus herd po ng Philippine Carabao Center. And Isabela, I think if I'm not mistaken, they've been doing it. There is a professor in ISU who has been doing, Dr. Naiga, I think, ang gumagawa po din ng, naririnig ko po, nababasa ko yung mga publication nila about cryopreservation sa goats. Pero ang sorry, go ahead. Ang ano kasi, ang main concern sa goat, hindi tinetrain ang goat, like especially like in the private farms, hindi masyadong tinetrain for semen collection. Pero nakita natin sa research natin, collaboration with the DA Bar, na possible i-train, basta yung technician mo and the animal technician, tsaka yun, and the animals will be able to make it work na matrain sila at makolekta ng similya. Pero yung cryopreservation is not routinely done, and that is one of the highlights of this research, that it is feasible in our country at para ma-sustain po ang ating mga goat breed sa Pilipinas. So kung free po ba ito answer Darwin's question, the good news is it's free as of today, at as long po na may budget po ang government natin. I keep reiterating, mahal po tayo ng gobyerno, ng Department of Agriculture, and actually as a researcher, they keep reminding us na kami mga researcher should work and must work on a laser-focused solution para matulungan ng mga livestock farmers. And we like that constant reminder for us. Kasi nga po, kailangan natin na ang ating mga magsasaka ay magkaroon ng improvement in their livelihood at ma-increase ang kanilang kita para magkaroon tayo ng mas maraming animals, livestock species in the Philippines for food security. So, libre pa po ito while it lasts. So,
Doc, so far, I have a question. Sorry, go on po.
Should I answer the follow-up question by Darwin? Or only those expert agriculturists can directly acquire the semen? Hindi naman po. Actually, yung expert agriculturists, it is, pagdating po sa collection ng similya mula sa animals, it is highly recommended na may mga agriculturists po, or agriculturists po ang nagko-collect nun. Because they are more experts than us. Kami mga biologists po kami. Pagdating po sa cryopreservation in the laboratory, we can do it. Pagdating handling for the animals, it is important we have the agriculturists and even the trained technicians po. Thank you.
Okay. So, eto po, Doc, I think mga short questions lang to. Not much needed yung explanation. So, flash ko po. So, this is from Sir Jericho again. So, recovery daw po.
Ako wala akong data for my study for the epididymes. Hindi ko, more on sperm cells lang.
Sige po. Tapos, yung sunod, so far, siguro po wag muna tayo mag-entertain ng questions about sperm extender kasi baka may masagasaan tayo dito. Then, ito po from Sir Cyrus Depamilo, kaya daw po is-subject for semen.
So Cyrus, yes. Actually, yung isa sa mga projects din na supported by the DA Bar, it's the boar semen. And it's also a good story about the boar semen. It's now working. May cryopreservation optimized protocol dyan. And also the good news, nakakapagpanganak na po ng mga piglets from this frozen semen.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. So this question naman, eto, may incidents daw po ba of offspring abnormalities from Joshua Hope?
As of the record, na-reported po ng mga farms na tinulungan po namin, no report yet on the abnormalities.
Oh, that's very good to hear. That's very promising po, Doc. Ito po, Doc, speaking of parang future research, parang eto, may young person tayong interested.
Okay. Yeah, that is feasible. Magkakaroon lang tayo ng memorandum of understanding between your university and also with our agency para po sa research collaboration.
Okay, so thank you, Doc. So it has to be between the university and PCC po, no? And Doc, Eto po, yung parang gusto kong tanong earlier, kasi when people asked about the availability of the procedure and the facility sa pagka-cryobank, parang you mentioned na sa Isabela may ganito, sa Los Baños may ganito. Do we have ano po, parang meron ba tayong isang agency or isang grupo lang na nagha-handle ng mga 'to so that we can address all the questions to them, then they'll just be coordinating with everyone? May gano'n po ba tayo? Or do they have to contact NLP for this?
Okay, so when you say about processing, would you mean processing ng different species or specific species as a whole? Kasi
So for
yung
now po
nabanggit
siguro
mo
yung
naman
mga tinanong lang muna.
okay, pagdating po sa boar, cattle, and goat, wala po tayong isang laboratory na nagpa-process for all these different species at once. However, this is the direction of the National Livestock Cryobank that we cater processing of the sperm from or germplasm from these different species. Possible po yan. However, yung na-mention ko po yung iba ay ano po sila, I specifically focus on Carabao right now for the Los Baños and also one in Nueva Ecija. And for the Europe Animal Industry, cattle naman po ang focus. May kanya-kanyang focus po yun. So, yun po so far ang aking information. So, hopefully as we expand the mandates and the program of the cryobank, nasabi ko nga ngayon nasa Luzon lang kami, and if will be increased and more people will be trained and also working with the livestock farmers, I believe that we can see that that it will strengthen the National Livestock Cryobank to process different species across the country.
Okay. So this would be the last question from the audience ako, Doc. Thank you for answering that, Doc. So iba-iba po pala talaga yung focus ng ating agency. So two questions from Sir Jericho. So most common reasons po for low conception rates. And paano daw po yun maiwasan ng farmers so far?
Okay. So, first of all, I'm not a reproductive physiologist. I'm more a biology person. Pero regarding that, sa aming experience po for using the frozen semen in cattle, goat, and swine, what I can share is that there's so many factors why there is a low conception rate. Isa lang po siguro yung few of those could be for the recipient. Ready ba yung female animal? Talaga bang in-heat siya before you do the insemination, something like that. And also the frozen semen, you need to regularly monitor in a way prior to cryopreservation and even before using na yung motility niya, progressive motility ay okay pa. Kapag low motility yan, low concentration pa yan, maapektuhan ang conception rate. So, and also the health and the nutrition and also the farm management would really affect these conception rates.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. And this one from Sir Ole. So may specific breeds daw po bang nag-respond better to cryo?
Yeah, we are seeing the pattern na kapag ganitong combination ng protocol ang ginamit mo for this specific breed for cattle and goat, they have significant increase of motility in the cryopreserved sperm cells.
Thank you, Doc. So this is not a question but more on from Sir Jericho, yung kausap mo kanina dito po. So thank you daw po sa pag-respond. And yun, sana po mas lumawak pa yung ating cryopreservation all over the country and extend it to other animals as well. So for now, we'll be on to our last two questions, which are the standard questions. So ano po, Doc, yung message mo to our researchers, then later on, ano po yung message or words of wisdom mo to our farmers?
Okay. Ang message ko po, nanawagan ako or encourage the researchers to please let's continue to collaborate. We have many things to work with. Kailangan kasi number one is there's a paucity o konti lang po talaga ang mga researchers sa buong Pilipinas na merong technical know-how about cryopreservation. We need to work together para mas ma-optimize pa natin ang different cryopreservation in different breeds across different species. Marami pa po tayong pagtatrabahuan. And actually, I like the comment of Jericho na sana ma-extend to sa endangered species like tamaraw. That is also one of my, nasama ko yun din yun sa aking wish list. Tamaraw, we need to conserve that. At the next one is for the researchers, once we
Farmers
gain
po.
knowledge, okay, for the farmers, please don't hesitate to approach us, to email, to contact us. Shinare po namin yung Facebook and even yung aming mga ibang mga information because we need to know more about the concerns sa farm nyo so that we can communicate, discuss, strategize on how we will work it out. Kasi kapag nag-usap po tayo, makikita namin kung anong level na po ba ang preparation na handa na ang farm nyo para ma-cryopreserve ang inyong precious genetics ng animals. And for some, they start with training the animals. For others, they need to know who will be the technician to collect the semen from their animals. So yung mga ganun po mga detalye yung pinag-uusapan and ano po yung mga kailangan and other guidelines, material transfer agreement about these genetics, something like that. So sa ating mga livestock farmers, wag po kayong mawawala ng pag-asa na alam ko marami kayong struggles about maintaining the genetics of your animals, the live populations as well. But with the cryobank, we are ready to back up the genetics so that in the future, you will have sources of genetics that you can use for your farm to boost the animal production system. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Doc. Doc, I think na-cut off kita earlier sa dun sa message mo sa ating researchers. Would you like to continue po? Or may sasabihin ka pa po ba sana? Sorry.
Sige. So, in line with that, as we increase the numbers of researchers who will be trained or will understand the cryopreservation techniques as well as the operation of cryobank, wag din nating kakalimutan that we need the next generation of researchers who will continue what we have started. So what I'm saying, as we learn and relearn, let's continue to yung mga succession natin. Kailangan nating i-impart and strengthen and encourage them to stay in the Philippines, to work with us here in the Philippines. Kasi po, marami po tayong kailangan pang gawin para sa ating agrikultura sa livestock industry and also with our livestock farmers.
Thank you so much, Doc, for generously sharing your expertise and passion to the public. So, ito po yung certificate mo. So, we'll be finding a way to send it to you to Nueva Ecija. So, I'll just be reading the citation. So, the DA Bureau of Agricultural Research awards this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Lilian P. Villamor for sharing her invaluable knowledge during the TA Bar online seminar series, Utilization and Profiling of Cryopreserved Semen of Swine and Goat for Sustainable Utilization of Genetic Resources, held on the 11th day of December 2025 by StreamYard and DA Bar Facebook page, given this 11th day of December 2025 in Diliman, Quezon City, signed by DA Bar OIC Director, Sir Joel H. Lalas. And this concludes our online seminar. Muli, maraming salamat po, Doc Lilian. And we're really hoping for that expansion of cryobanking for preservation sa animal genetic resources all over the country, not just limited to swine, cattle, pati na rin sa other species ng ating na available in the country. So thank you so much, Doc. And also reminders po sa ating participants. So na-post ko na po yung attendance sheet. It's already pinned on the comment section ng Facebook page. Tapos, you have to answer it till 12. Then, if you have further questions po, so, please message the DA Philippine Carabao Center or facebook.com/DA Philippine Carabao Center. Doc, what was the ano po yung Facebook page niyo ng Cryobank?
DAPCC National Livestock Cryobank.
Okay. So also please, for more specific questions, if you want to address it directly to Doc and her team, so the APCC Cryobank page po yung ating pupuntahan, or you can just message the ABAR po. So yung Facebook pages po namin, so Facebook, and please follow it po. And also sa mga gusto pong ma-revisit yung episode na to and other seminar episode, yung YouTube account po namin. So yun. Doc, thank you po. Do you have anything to plug po? May gusto ka po bang pasalamatan or announce?
Gusto ko pong pasalamatan ulit yung aming mga naging collaborators. Of course, malaking tulong po ang Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research, and also the Department of Agriculture National Livestock Program para po mas capacitate po ang aming mga researchers sa National Livestock Cryobank. At also good news, next year we will embark on another project. It's funded by the DABPO, the Biotechnology Program Office on the poultry species. So nadadagdagan na po ang ating mga ibabangko na mga different species at magkakaroon na lalong forever dito sa ating modern Noah's Ark, or sa Pilipinas, let's call it Juan's Ark. Yun po.
Ayun, di na po tayo masyadong matatakot sa zombie apocalypse or kung ano, kasi baka yung future generation mahanap pa yung ating cryobank eh. So anyway, thank you so much Doc Lilian sa pagpaunlak. So na-extend po tayo. So ang haba po and sobrang informative ng ating discussion, and it's a shame na we had to cram it in such a short span of time. I hope we can have you still in the future, and of course with a different research project na. So yun, we are looking forward to collaborating with you in the future in every other way po. And salamat po sa ating participants for actively participating, of course. Pero sobrang thank you po Doc for attending and being our resource speaker today. So yan, dito na po nagtatapos ang ating free online seminar. Ako po si Tin, isang mapagpalang umaga po sa ating lahat. Kita-kita po tayo sa sunod na seminar at sa mga susunod pa. Happy holidays po sa ating lahat, and happy holidays po Doc Lilian. Thank you po.
Thank you.
The rising global population threatens food security, as the increased demand for food puts pressure on our agricultural resources and production systems. This increased demand intensifies problems like land degradation, water scarcity, climate change, and competition for arable land, making it harder to provide nutritious food for everyone, especially in areas already experiencing food insecurity. Focusing on innovative technologies and sustainable agricultural practices, these challenges can become valuable opportunities that can drive economic growth and technological advancement. Research for Development, or R4D, plays a pivotal role in addressing the challenge of food security. In the Philippines, an organization is emphasizing the transformative power of technology to drive the sector towards its optimal potential through Research for Development, or R4D. The Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Agricultural Research, or DABAR,